Today we're going to take a closer look at consumer loans, particularly ones that affect transportation or an auto loan. I'm going to start by outlining the 4 steps in the smart buying process. Step 1 would be differentiate your wants from your needs. Step 2, do your homework. Step 3, make your purchase. And Step 4, maintain your purchase. Now that you know these steps, we're going to actually apply them. When purchasing a vehicle, you want to make sure the vehicle best fits your lifestyle and your budget. Some considerations would be seating. Do you want a car that comfortably seats just 2? Or do you need 4 or more people? This also will play into how many doors you're looking for, 2-door versus 4-door. The style and brand come into play as well. Some people are very particular on the type of brand that they buy, while others do not care. The style refers to, do you want a sports car, a truck, an SUV, or another type? This will all affect your price and ultimately your insurance. The mileage is important as well. The higher the mileage, the more likely you'll need additional repairs, as it will have more wear and tear on the vehicle. However, the price will also likely reflect this and be lower. A new car will have 0 to little mileage on it and will be assured that you will have fewer repairs initially. However, the cost will also reflect that and be higher. The insurance costs are a huge factor in the type of car you should buy, yet most people overlook these costs. The newer the car, the more expensive it will be. The more sporty the car, the more expensive it will be as well. So when you're buying your first car, it's important to kind of focus on what are your true needs, not necessarily your wants, and focus on those so that you don't in turn increase your insurance cost unnecessarily. My advice would be, when you're first starting out, it is much better to look for a used car. Remember, when you buy a new car, the minute you drive it off the lot, it immediately loses value. So you're losing a lot of value initially without getting much in return. For our exercise, I would encourage everyone to look for a used car. However, that is not a requirement. The next thing we have to take a look at is how much can you actually afford. There are 2 parts to the car buying purchase. There's the down payment, which is the amount you bring initially when you make the purchase, as well as the monthly payments that you'll continue to make until the loan is paid off. Your down payment, by rule of thumb, should probably be about 10% of the purchase price. However, the higher the down payment, the lower the amount of the loan, so you'll ultimately pay less in interest in the long run. Your monthly payment should be kept below 15% of the monthly wage. We took a look at this earlier when we looked at your debt limit ratio. Some of the factors that will affect your monthly payment include the length of the loan as well as the rate of the loan, and we'll explore those now. The length of the loan affects your payments because a longer loan will provide you with smaller payments since you're making it over a longer period of time. However, a longer loan will also cost you more in interest because you are taking more time and making more payments. What you need to do is look at your monthly budget and determine what type of a payment are you comfortable making. That will help you determine how long your loan should be. A typical car loan is between 3 and 5 years. Remember, you don't want to go too long, because what happens if your car breaks down or you no longer have it after 5 years? You don't want to still be making payments on it. The other big factor is your APR, or your interest rate. Remember, the lower the rate, even by fractions or a percentage, is very, very important. Your credit score will determine how low your rate can be. So be sure you're making all sorts of wise credit decisions throughout this process. That brings us to step 3, making your actual purchase. Before we make the purchase, I want to take a few moments and actually talk about the 2 options that you have when you're looking at purchasing a vehicle. You can purchase the vehicle, or you can lease a vehicle. On the screen you have some of the comparisons between the 2. Leasing a vehicle, in essence, is renting it. Some of the benefits of leasing a vehicle is that you could have a new car every 2 to 4 years. So if having the newest model and a brand new car is important to you, leasing would be your option. It's also important that you don't drive over 15,000 miles in a year, because they often will charge you additional fees for extra miles driven. You need to make sure that you're taking good care of the car, because in essence you're going to return it at the end of your lease. This is also more beneficial if you don't plan to make modifications, such as changing out the body or the rims of your car or adding additional things maybe that suit your needs. It also is important that you have to realize you will be making monthly payments forever if you lease, because your lease will never be up. In essence, you will never have that car as your own to own. Your other option is purchasing the vehicle, which is what we have focused most of this lesson on. This is for people who want to have the ultimate ownership of their vehicle and the ability to change things as they see fit. It does not matter how many miles you drive a year because the car is yours. This also helps you to build up equity. When we're looking at our balance sheet, remember this would be considered an asset only if you purchase your vehicle, not if you lease it. Take some time and record some of these notes on the note sheet that you have for homework. In our activity, we will be purchasing a vehicle, not leasing, but it is important that you fill out the worksheet to identify the differences between the two and make a decision at the bottom based on what would be the best choice for you. The last step in the car buying purchase would be step 4, maintaining your purchase. You need to create room in your monthly budget to maintain this vehicle. Some expenses that you should plan to budget for include the general maintenance, gas, oil changes, and unexpected expenses such as a flat tire or a car accident. It is hard to recommend an amount for each of these categories because there are so many factors that will influence how much you'll need, including how much you drive your vehicle, what shape it's in when you first purchase it, and the type of driver that you are. Be sure to take some time, though, and add these to your monthly budget. Otherwise, you might be a person who struggles to make it from paycheck to paycheck. That concludes our lesson on transportation and specifically the auto loan.